Hi, welcome. And Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends upon the time zone. So thank you so much, all of you. I think all of you had a great weekend. Yesterday, you spent your time with your family and friends and loved ones. And believe you all are back to the work today. And today onwards, we continue again our 100 days challenge. What we started doing today is a campaign. Next month, and what we are going to do is we are going to start a campaigns. That means, that is, we are going to do what are the we can started doing 100 days. After 100 days of program, we are going a championship, right? The championship, we have a most important thing is a campaign. So about the championship, a detailed session we are doing not this Wednesday, next next, what do you call for that, following Wednesday. Okay, following Wednesday when we do the championship, then we talk about the championship. But there are so many things which we need to start before the championship. We need to take care of the campaigns to start. So we already started discussing about the email marketing, email extracting, email collection of the data, etc. So all the things we need to start doing now. That's the reason today immediately we go to the email campaign. We completed SEO before going to social media. We start an email campaigning, then we go to how do that? We start doing it is about the email campaigns. So one of the major, after the 11 strategies we are discussing about the campaign, we will be doing about email campaign almost every week on the championship, and of course after that also we continue. So part of this, we will be conducting lot many campaigns. So for that, I would like you to start doing a campaign. That's exactly the reason we need to start working today on what the campaign part. So today we'll continue with the email part. Part is we need to compile all together what we discussed, and the campaign part we start doing. So I want all of you to start designing the campaign. So objective of the program today will be about this weekend. Okay. Now, what we do is today, all the 4 steps of the campaigns we're going to discuss. The 4 category, like we had discussed about the everything has a 4 process, right? So today topic is we are talking about email process. Email process is basically, as you know, the email process, marketing process I'm talking about. We started using a collection of the data, we're extracting from the existing email bot, all the things going on. So it's a very important topic all of us today you need to start with, and we will continue this every week. There is a campaigns. So I would like you to start the campaign probably the next Wednesday onwards. So I would like you to have all the thing starting from the beginning. It's today onwards. I believe all of you use this as extraction tools. Your email collection is already happening. The goal which we set of a 10,000 email IDs, you already collected that one. I know already start doing at least that process already starting. By keeping this mind, we will be start doing it is doing various campaigns. So various steps and tools we are going to discuss now. So we will start with one important aspects of the email marketing process and tools. 1 second, I'll connect that to the PowerPoint as usual. Without further ado, we'll connect to the presentations. Welcome all of you for the Digital Mastery Challenge program of 82 days. So today, 80 seconds. Today we'll do the 100 days of challenge. I'm live from Qatar. It's October 10th, evening Saturday at 6 p.m. Now, we start with email marketing process or email marketing campaign platforms. So this is a topic we'll be discussing today. Okay, so when we look at it is today, we're in a digital marketing aspect. When you start an online business, if you continue doing a lot many digital marketing activities, and lot many methods we discussed around 100 methods, around 75 methods we discussed a couple of weeks ago, and there are another 10, 12 which we have been discussing about it. Okay, now this tools and platforms, when you look at it, is every time there are so many tools and methods and platforms keep changing. That what we are using earlier, it's not there, right? Now what we are using may not be there tomorrow. But the email, when you look at the last 2 decades, we have it now as one of the more than 2 decades actually as one of the best campaigns one. So this is actually evergreen, and it is going to be, according to me, it is going to be stay back there. Now, even any devices, you go to IoT, you go to blockchain, everything comes in as well. We will have a what is that? The email is one or the other form. Like for example, earlier email was only accessed people through once in a while. Then they connected to mobile devices. So more the devices come and integrate, and now the email is integrated with social media. Same thing will be we will be doing on. Okay, now. So that's exactly the reason I want you to give a very, very important importance of the email marketing campaigns. Now, we might take it not very seriously about email marketing, but email marketing, every company, everybody is doing an online campaign today. 99% of the people are using email campaign. I have a lot of conviction about email campaigning because most of the time, whenever I achieve the greater level, say sales or whatever, when I'm talking about the whole day, sales marketing or a Pearl which I marketed, or my smart card marketing, or any of the computer components which I sold, all this business every time I had an integral part as an email. And one of the things which I told you about, one of the client which I did a campaign, which is actually just one email campaign was enough to run entire country to get like in India, like a large country, to get a lot of associates and clients. So once you get a result, you get a lot of conviction. So once you get an only result once you started doing. So even today, the moment my first priority is always the email. Email is the first priority, and you can integrate everything to the email as well. Whatever you do, other campaign, like whether social media campaign, remarketing campaign, or SEO part, you can actually make an email also part of that one. So that's exactly the reason I want you to look into the very seriously. I want you to take that. Now, I know that list building is a challenge, but today I'll discuss with you why the list building is very important part. All the things play a major role here. Okay, now, another important part when you look at it is today, as we discussed, we have around 3.2 billion email accounts. We have it on a worldwide accounts. We have it on. Okay, so which is basically combined of a Facebook and Twitter. Okay, so that more than that, than email IDs we have it in the world. So that big is the email marketing is. So it's a very powerful tool, and you get a ROI, return on investment. We discussed in the last time. It is a very high compared to any other marketing methods, and very simple, and everyone can do. Now, here today we are going to discuss about more on a campaign. We discussed about the email marketing part of the last time. So I just quickly refresh you. Then we go to the campaign part. So what exactly here we are referring? We are not just referring you sending a mailing and replying. We are talking about a continuously doing it. So what is exactly email marketing? The definition here: a structured, a systematic process is that one of the most successful channel for delivering highly relevant marketing communication to targeted subscribers. That's the point. Okay, so not randomly sent to everyone. You buy a market, a lot of email that I'm sending out may not be a good idea. So you need to have a targeted customers, and you need to segmentation. One of the topic we'll discuss today. So it's a very, very important part of that. A structured, a systematic process is important for an email marketing to do it. Okay. So what makes an email marketing is too valuable is basically it's also give you a lot of visibility to your brand. It is not just you send in a sales call or a subscription call. No, it's a people always see the emails, right? Even though there's many of the time or most of the time they're not responding, still there is a brand visibility that people keep communicating, which is good. Now, but this process, to get a good result, and you need to have a consistent process. It's not a one-day job. One email you send and you're getting that should not be your part is majorly, right? That's important part. Once again, I'll just connect to the other point. Okay, so this is a consistent process. As I mentioned, it is not one time. So you need to make a habit for every week or every day. We need to have weekly one email. It's a minimum thing which we recommend. Even some of the segment wise, or maybe with more interesting or a more regular basis, you can also have a daily basis. There are so many people do on a daily basis talking about an update. So people wait for email. Not on every day you repeatedly doing. That's not the idea. So you can have an update on a regular day based on your niche. On a daily basis, you can give an update. It's also a strategy. You can use it, or maybe minimum once in a week. That's a minimum you should be doing, whether it's a newsletter, or it's an update, or a normal email campaigning, or offers, or sending a coupons. There are so many things which you can do with an email campaign. It must be part of it's at least once in a week. So then again, one more important part is when you do it is not 1 or 2 people or 1,000 people. Start with the 10,000 people. I think over 1 million email list what we are talking about. Over a period of time, you need to have a 1 million list of that. So when we say 1 million, so the reason is actually we are looking for around 0.3% of the people actually conversion of that we are expecting. That means 400. No one will be there. I give you other calculation. So that's the reason you need to have a 1 million over a period of time. So when you look at the people who are digital marketers, affiliate marketers, or other people who are making money. So when you look at their email lists, they talk about 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, 25 million opt-in list. And you can also see the website, which is those are selling like a flipper.com, embareflippers.com, like a website. They also talk about, I have a 2017 onwards, I started collecting an email, and I have now around 5 million email subscribers, or I have 500,000 email subscribers. So a huge number of subscription increases the value of your website. Plus, you have a good result is coming in, and you can rely only on this one to do all other campaigns. Once you have this one, another important one is any other campaign you do, whether it is a PPC campaign or a display network advertisement or a social media campaign, or even using a social media influencer, you're doing a YouTube campaign, or you are also doing a retargeting, remarketing. Everywhere you can integrate email marketing as well. And you can schedule it. So many facilities, tools and facilities we'll discuss about in detail today. So before that, I just connect with the digital marketing. Now, earlier we discussed the email marketing, email scrapping, and email integrating, and email extracting, and different types of email opt-in list and double opt-in list rules, and that will be discussed. Today, we are going a little more further in detail for you to start doing a campaign. So first is the 3I strategies. I think the 3I strategies of a digital marketing, exactly things applicable here as well. So we are not changing that 3I principle even for email part. Okay. So it's a initiate. That's what your initiation to start with your customer. So when you send an email to the customer, you need to know that is what customer's preferences and what kind of a customer is you are sending, and is that going to connect with your brand or offer which you are doing. So that's the first step. So don't forget that is when you start drafted an email, not the email for you, it's for your customer. So start with that. So think about if he really see this content, what he think about it, what his opinion about it. Start putting in his, that's like avatar of the customer. So even a campaign time, I would recommend you have a list of maybe 10,000 or 20,000. You can again further customize that with the avatar of the customer. Now, somebody's in your niche, somebody is interested in one particular topic, you can completely customize the email for them. Then you can have another one separately. So that's the initiation part. Never forget, that's the first thing you should do it as. Second, who are your target subscribers? When you think of what kind of email content will be suit them under their preferences and their need. So most important part is actually they need to have the person who's sending that you are sending an email, make sure that you know the preferences of the customers and you understand them, the content you are sending to them is interesting to them. Okay. Now, once we have that, starting with the customers, then important about it is rating. As we discussed, it is measure and analyze the performance marketing campaign every time. How many click-through rate, how many people open the email, how many people click the one, how many subscribe, how many purchase. Entire part is important part. Now you make sure that is you are able to engage them. I'll tell you a couple of examples today. One example actually I already added to the PowerPoint, so I'll explain to you that is an engagement we're talking about. Each customer a long-term process. That's the reason that a lot of workers, there are so many companies today, they have a post called email marketing managers. Not one, multiple people. Because email marketing itself is a kind of a full-time job. There are so many emails need to go and reach, and it's really worth it. Okay. Now, if your customers are ignoring, that's the biggest issue. But first of all, ignoring, you need to know if they're making a spam or they're unsubscribing. You need to have a feedback, listening from them why they are ignored you. That's an important aspect, right? So you need to make sure that is they ignored because of so and so reason, and even they opt out. You should have a how do you say? You also learn from them why they're going opt out. So opt out, when you subscription opt out, you can ask the column why you're opting out. So they might tell you too much of time you're sending an irrelevant content to me, and so I don't know, something like that. They will tell you. So we need to understand the relevant content to them as well. So this part, if they're ignoring, we need to identify why they're doing it. Though the one important part, I'm coming to the slide itself, the point, it is not sending out to the so many people the mail. It is important to send them a relevant content to the right people. So that is the important part. So here is the important part is, whatever you do, many times we go it right, sometimes we do not get it right. Sometimes we get a good result, sometimes we don't get a result. But we have to learn from the mistakes. So over a period of time, we'll be fantastic on email marketing. So what you have to start learning about your person by sending it to us. Okay. So it's a completely improving execution of the campaign is the most important part. Then we need to integrate overall digital marketing campaign, even in your offline marketing campaign. So it is incorporation of your email marketing and the digital marketing is very, very important. And this integration, it actually boosts not only your email marketing, it's actually boosts your other marketing aspect. So this is the 3I which we discussed about all other digital marketing. Even when we discuss social media, the same thing we are going to discuss there as well. Now, there are a few steps to follow for effective email marketing campaigns. So the first step as well, like what we discussed in SEO, same way we are going to discuss in email. Then again, same thing we discussed for a digital display advertisement. Then we discussed about the PPC. Now, social media, we're going to discuss the same thing. All the things, same format we are going to do. So here are what are the 4 steps on email marketing. First is the data. Then second is the designing, delivery, and discovery. These are 4 steps of the marketing process we need to follow. So we'll go slowly, but actually I want you to take this one to start your campaign, maybe a sample campaign, maybe this week itself, or maybe following week, maybe a kind of anything you can creatively think about how it is. So start doing it. So that way because we are going to learn so many things from the mistakes. So make sure that you start doing, then only mistake will happen. If you're not doing, there's no mistake, right? So we will understand, okay, because I got a response of the subject line. I did not get a response because of the content was bad, or link was not working, image was not working, or a call to action was not there. Maybe psychology of writing as email did not work out. Something like that always will have it is. So that's the reason we need to to have this idea on it. Okay. Now, when you say this email marketing, the subscribers list is the data we are talking about. So subscribers list, we discussed the opt-in list and double opt-in list, right? Opt-in list is the person who opted to receive a marketing communication from you. The double opt-in is a person confirm that email again. That is, yes, this email I confirm. So opt-in, then he opt-in, double opt-in. Now here my question. Now all the double opt-in or opt-in is actually you consciously subscribed? Actually no, like an Amazon. When you sign up in Amazon service send an email. So you accepted it. But you consciously or you not read that and say, but Amazon keeps sending. Sometimes you unsubscribe and sometimes you don't unsubscribe, but Amazon keeping that practice. So even if it's an opt-in, make sure that you have a call. There is segmenting. Actually, we'll discuss with you some people have really opted with with the newsletter. You have to treat them separately. But randomly coming in opt-in, so opt-in also you need to separate it because then you have a quality best one, then better one, and good one, and there may be a bad one as well. So bad one you may remove later, but sometimes bad one we cannot ignore because the bad one become a good also. So we need to plan it is, but what we to avoid, we'll discuss with that. So this data collection is very, very important. The opt-in list is the best list. Double opt-in is the best, which we wanted. But at the same time, we also need to collect all the data. So we discussed about the collection of data, email scrapping or email extracting, and that we discussed. So we need to have that one. And there are a few other methods I'll discuss with you how you collect the data in Pickup. Okay. So basically, the compilation of the email contacts and you see the communication. Basically opted for it. Now, when we say it's an object for it, now they they'll try to they'll receive our email from us. If some of the law, legal aspect we'll discuss with you with later, but as per the you need to be careful. The legally, you can only send the unsolicited emails to only certain countries, like a few countries, like a European, some of the European country union, some of the Canadian rules are very strict on it. So please make sure that is you must follow. This is this the rule you follow. That's an important aspect. Okay. Now we'll go to the next part is the designing aspect of the email, and it's once the designing aspect is done, then we also have delivery. So design, look and feel, and the color combination, the image, the video, the link, the signature, and the logo. Everything you're displaying in the email. It's a very, very important part where people take a decisions, and people they put their money by looking at the email. Okay, so it's all about setting and sending properly. Once you did that delivery, then marketing should come to their inboxes receiving, and not going to the spam and promotions. That's one of the very tricky and challenging one. So we need to address that one. So that's what exactly we're talking about, delivery. So here, we to do an email marketing, actually, I strongly recommend using ESPs, especially email marketing softwares. You need to use email marketing. So it's called as a ESP, is an email service provider. You can take a MailChimp or a Constant Contact. There are so many email marketing softwares are there, or email service providers are there. You use them and to send out a scheduled one until you. And they have so many tools. We'll be discussing detail on it. Now, the next one is a discovery. So once you send an email, so refining the data based on a delivery is important. So once you send an email, there are many people are, first of all, the thing which you have to remove it is bounced emails. The moment emails are bounced when you send an email, remove that from the people. So that's a bad one. They're not receiving it. They maybe change the email. So why to have that email with you? So that remove that one. Second one is people respond. People say, reply you back and say unsubscribing. If you need to unsubscribe them to to receive it in the inbox. We can have a to the inbox. What is it? They opted to receive an inbox. You can have a report on, so you know that the people are interested. Some people click the various link. That can be another thing. So every campaign is over. You need to have the segmentation and keep it as the people are asked this detail. People are behaved like this. Their their responses. You make a list on it. So once we have that, is you also do Shava analytics. Now, track and email to track, and their open rates, how many people open, how many link they open, and what are the uniqueness of their you can actually send out a multiple link, and which are the link they open. All the things you can actually have a kind of a data with us to have it on. Okay. Now, so even you don't have any email marketing now, it never did it earlier, but it's very easy for you to start and understand the email marketing concept. So based on this, when you start doing it, is it's you're going to you're going to like it. According to me, if you start doing everything in a proper manner, you're going to really like it. It's so simple and do, and you even your email IDs when you do, you need to be careful to do, but you can keep trying for maybe creating a group and sending in the G Suite if you have. You can create a group, and as you know, the Google allow now 6,000 per group. Like that, you can have a multiple groups and send out in the G Suite. That's a good thing. Even you don't have an ESP part. Okay. So that is already mentioned. That is earlier, structured and a process driven we need to have, and everything about implementation it promptly. Now we are going to talk about small points, but it's important to follow the process. Okay, so now forget this process. Even one thing you miss it, you may not get the right result. And if it is properly do, I can tell you, because you have a good list, you definitely get a 0.3% conversion. That's very good. So this very simple logic. If you do all this follow-up process, and once in a week the campaign goes out, and all the principle you are putting, and all the 3I you are using, all the 4 stuff you are doing, it's a 0.3. That means 1,000 people you send 3 sales. 10,000 people you send it, you have a 30 sales. 100,000 you send it, you have 300 sales. So to have a 300 sales, send out 100,000 emails. And compared to all other campaigns, the email campaign has cheaper and less effort, and more frequently you can do. So these are a good thing about it. So that's the reason it's important to follow the process part. So you also to understand the global marketing, other trend also you should know what the other people are sending, how they're doing, etc. Now, you need to collect with the subscribers data and maximize your audience or your target. You have to integrate everything together, and every day or every week you are increasing your numbers and do it. Okay, so now you need to craft a compelling and contagious content. People should feel to forward. Many other email we forward to others. Hey, this will might interest you. Sometimes people send you an email. So basically, if you send out a good content, even others will do that as well. Okay, others also forward that email. Okay, now optimizing an email, it's very important. Avoiding the spam filters. That's the best and most important part of that. So you do not get into spam. So how people make a spam? So many reasons people make you spam. So first of all, when you send a irrelevant content, people make you spam. People, even the technology wise, tools wise, especially the Gmail or your email service providers or the email providers, what they do based on your content, and the machine language, the AI read, and the machine language is, the bot would read and decide based on you have too much of free offers, too much of offers, so much of that kind of a word, by automatically they detect and actually put into the promotions. So we need to smartly handle the content part to handle these kind of issues. So that's one. Another thing is actually people feel it is too much of your, even though you're relevant, too many emails you're sending, they'll also make you spam, right? So we need to be very, very careful about the spam. Now, before we go to the spam, other thing, think about a fantastic email you're doing every week. Once in a week, you're doing a great email. Now, I'm looking for all of you to start with this month itself around 10,000. That's the goal we worked with last time. So please make sure that you reach out 10,000 email IDs. Which is at least as opt-in list. I'm not thinking about double opt-in. They'll actually make an opt-in list at the earliest. Maybe not at the stage. You may not be able to make a 10,000 opt-in now, but set a goal another 2-3 months time, you will make them. But you should genuinely, sincerely, you should have the 10,000 for them to have a relevant content to go. Now, if you are not sure of this random email, who are they, what are they, really big challenge. So now you have to think as much as general and to understand everyone. So because you think it's a students, they are not students. You thought it is a male, it's a female. So there are a lot of miscalculation. If you don't know about your list, you'll have a problem. So you need to think out as general as everyone. Everybody should feel that talking to me. That kind of a content become challenge if you don't have a right what is that right audience details with you. So it is before, so to that is an important first step of the email marketing. You will make a complete list of the people, what kind of a people, and connect with your avatar of your customer as well. Now, before we go at the next step, so we'll see how the email look like. So what are the email? A good email we are talking about is the first one is basically, of course, the subject. You know that when you get an email, you forget about the email. So email is a recent activity, right? I mean recent means previously we are more into mail, especially your generation X. If you're not a millionaire, the first thing is that you wait for a postman or a postbox letter to arrive to you. So the moment it comes to that, we have it in our subconscious mind. First, we look into, we also check the from, right? And of course, the envelope come, what is registered, the gift or a vouchers or what is returned in no? So something like that. So overall, even before reopening, the same thing for email as well. You might have noticed, you see the subject line, that's your cover. Then who sent it to you? Sender, right there. So the center is very important. So the person you are sending the email, the people are going to see who sent to this. So you will have a what is that? What do you say that? Yeah, the people taking a decision based on your center. So the center name become very important. Don't randomly people choose some names, and it has an effect. So somebody says based on that, people might take a decision. It's not relevant to him. So make an most convincing, most appreciative method of the target customers that from what they see. Same thing for the subject line. So very important. Based on that, he decided to open, and that is the first impression you are giving to him after the from address. And that when the moment you send this email, the subject line they see the subject line based on the ticket. So subject line play very major role. So never focus. I think last time we discussed about the various strategies of according to the various studies conducted. I shared with you last 2 days when we did it. Now today again, few more strategies we'll discuss in detail. So it's a subject line become very important part. Now, second one is actually so when he opened the mail, everybody is an important person, right? For you, you are the important. For me, I'm the important. So the addressing the personalized greetings, the most important for many other people. And that's one of the challenges. When sometimes you have to do mail merge, sometimes to do a few technology, you have to properly use it, but the effect is very high. It is not any person is not only greeting, so dear, the moment you see that is, people say is an old friend technique. So an old friend sends you an email after a long time, you're so excited to read. So that kind of a salutation, if you can bring out. So basically, more personalization in a greetings aspect, you could bring it, and that's the first thing part to do. Okay. Now this one, once you personalize it, even the other personalization on the content is basically later stage in the paragraph. Again, you take out the person. Hey, I'm talking one paragraph. Talk about, hey, what do you think about? What's your opinion about Mr. Sean? So, like that, you can ask even during the paragraph. And like, oh, Sean, you don't even believe. Like that, you can use a word like, oh, Sean. So actually, this kind of a thing. So you can use various technology, like one of the CRM we are using. Actually, there are a lot of platforms which you can actually use this one, and that will make a good impact as well. Okay. Then third point is, once you have this a person, so your subject line before that, as I mentioned, from address, people are definitely looking. So where the mail comes, the subject line has become very important for you to open this email. Then comes the major portion of the what you wanted to communicate there. So after the greetings part, so where you would talk about what the matter is, right? Now, important is, now he's going to, like all of the rules we talk about, IDA rule, attention, interest, and desire and action rule. You need to have email marketing rules, everything apply and do. Then it is you add an image with that. So there are different opinion. People say that his image should be the first and then content. Some of the greetings first and email. So I'm in favor of first to get off the greeting and say the point, then to have an image. So, but anyway, different opinion. The study conducted in the both his work depends upon the niche and target audiences. Okay. And because when the email, when she sent to you, people are expecting actually somebody talking to you personal level. Now, that was been a people program that immediately randomly a brochure he may not appreciate, and so unless you address him with the name and say this is a mail I'm sending you, you're an important person. So that's the reason I prefer to have a later stage the image after second pair or third pair, you put this images. That's part. Okay. Now, after that, you need to make sure that you're actually writing this about your target audience and the content is okay, and they must have a call to action as well. So for that, after the last portion or even the middle itself, you can have this one kind of a call to action. So people should do something. So here, when this email, when you do it, is you can see so many mails that do not reply. That's a very bad thing in the marketing perspective. In technology perspective, do not reply an automated mail. The moment you see a do not reply, you know that is an automated reply. It is not come to you from a company. So you don't have that emotional connection, don't have a touch, And you also get irritated. Sometimes you want to inform them. When you click it, it's a do not reply. Then another mail, when they look at your signature or the bottom, you are not able to find them. That's a big challenge. So, and plus, even you want to unsubscribe, so you need to have an option. So you have to send out an email. You cannot send out email because it's a do not reply. So I strongly recommend do not use that one do not reply idea unless you have no other option to use some kind of a tools. Even you're getting that one for a campaign part, you don't use that platform because the campaign on regular basis, you need to personalize the content under. Okay. Now, once this is the part of the an email which you're talking about yet. Now, what are the process in this one? Once you make this process and you start sending it, before that, few things to consider for the effectiveness of the marketing campaign. So here we need to now these metrics. What is happening should be involved in the reporting. I send out this many emails. This many people open it. This many people bought it. This many people responded. All the things, important aspect. So the email marketing process, we go by step. The step one is basically collecting a data, as we discussed. Then this is, without this, you will not be able to send an email, right? So number of emails you have, that's very important. Now you also know that is once you all the thing you're done, some mail landed in a spam, you don't get a 0.3% of the conversion. You can go further later because that's an issue on when it becomes a spam and call it you fun. Okay, so this is very important for you not to become a spam aspect. Okay, now everybody, so the trust factor is important. Sometimes you do too much of spam, even your domain become a spam. So domain, somebody try to open your website, it shows as a suspicious. So people don't come to your website. So what you do is, for example, to do an email campaign, you can have another domain, which is pointed out your website, or maybe it can be some very simple website, or you can do. It's up to you how you want to protect that one, because people might report and make you spam as well. And based on the number of people like making us a spam, the Google also decide, or the Gmail also decide what level of they want to give you or not. So important aspect. Okay, yeah, we'll go to the next part. Now, this is most of the time, the sad part is if you do all the effort and go to the spam, we get really, really irritated, frustrated. So spam, we need to very, very carefully to handle. So now, it's basically how do the customer see the email marketing is. The customers actually see the email marketing is basically one of the genuine one. I mean, usually they actually trust, but the spam they don't trust. The moment you go to the spam, people start looking at it in a suspicious way in the beginning itself. So that's a very, very important aspect on it. The moment you start doing it is, people judge you based on what kind of an email, etc. So that's the reason you this email part is a spam mail should not return. Even a spam, how the customer feel it is, as I mentioned. Like in an example, it's the pre-cooked meat with the colors. Normally, we are not very comfortable with that, right? We have a lot of suspicion. Even we not buy it, even if buy it have suspicion, then even your tasting you will still suspect. So very less number of people do that. So that's the reason the spam is actually a big issue. So we should not be doing. So when we now all of you going through, last time we went through, and this time again you went through, tomorrow a vigorous email campaign is a challenge. So you need to start sending email to the people opt-in list. Okay, only to the opt-in list people we need to send the email marketing. So initial maybe one or two email you can make them in an opt-in by doing a link or some gift or a vouchers or a ebooks or a something to do. So let's try to do that one. Now, spam can apply for a bulk email if you send it, and unsolicited email you can send. It's not, you have it is. And one of the other thing is actually ESPs also blacklist you based on activity you're doing. If the consumers blacklist you, other service providers blacklist you. So be careful about that one. So it's kind of blacklisting a kind of a you're dead. You cannot do any more email campaign if you can if you do a blacklist. That's an important part. Do not get into that one. Okay. Now there are a few examples of a spam we'll discuss about it. Okay. Now the spam actually you will get into trouble and you will be what is that you will have a lot of issues with people, more and more spams happening because you don't get a result and you also have reputation issues. Now, spam email, basically, there are so many emails that you get. I don't know how many of you tried this one. Okay, so two examples I'm going to talk to you. One is sometime you subscribed some email, but you forgot because maybe last 10 years your life has gone changed. You might even 2 years later, 1 year later, you might actually have forgotten that sometime you visited a website and you just inquired something, and that company treated you as a subscription. Maybe some cases you inquired some product maybe from China 5 years ago. That company is still keeping the data and sending you a mail. You feel it is why they're sending it, but actually you give them a data. So this kind of an examples are there for many other email situation happens. Now another thing is people do a kind of a scammers. That is very common scammer. Most of you will witness this, I'm sure about it. One is actually when I am the wife of Colonel Gaddafi, and me and my daughter was ran away. I have 35 million US dollars there to transfer to you, and I'll do a deal with you 70%. I'll give to you. And most of the sometimes, there are many people. Mike, I'm the personal secretary of this president who recently crashed the airline. This is a picture of this, and I have the money in the bank account. I want a bank account to transfer to you. Okay. Maybe sometime in Nigeria. So different countries, people send you this email to you. So I believe one or other way you receive this one. Sometime in inbox, sometime in a spam box. Now, how many of you replied to this? Do you reply, or have you went ahead with them? Actually, I did it because as you know, the email marketing is my passion. I was trying to understand how their business model works. Two examples tell you how they work and where them they get a result. This scam or this spam, this scam is not started yesterday or today. Maybe in the beginning itself, maybe around 20 years ago, also I know the people who are doing this one. And the same people, the same company, I don't sell it on the same company. Even today, they continue as a business that is. Recently, the person I interacted long ago, actually recently again sent me an email. I just only remember that 10 years ago I spoke to you. You should have changed this business model to some other thing. You do the same kind of email marketing, you would have made more money. So this, when I replied back, I'll tell you a couple of examples. When I replied back, it says, I said, okay, to let me know. So he asked me so many details. So basically, name, email ID, phone number, address, city, bank account, blah, 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 blah. So I given them. Okay. So then they said, okay, this I can you check with your bank? You have a capacity to receive the money from abroad? I said, yes, I'm already receiving, please don't worry, etc. Then again, he sent a mail, okay, saying that it's okay, I'm going to transfer to you this much money. Even though it's not a legitimate transfer because I'm transferring this one, but you will not have any legal issues. But you need to commit me in this email, that is, you will give me back 30%, or you take a 50%, or depends upon the deal. I tried multiple, they'll also okay. I said, okay, no problem, do it. Then I received a mail and saying that is, to a transfer charge of $12,000 is required for 30 million to transfer. So what do you say? So this is a time. So this is a time you might have read in the newspaper many times. People lost money to went to the bank and people believe this and go and transfer the money. Not one or two cases. I remember when I was in Hyderabad in India. Bank manager who I'm banking with, he was seeing I was doing online business. That's the time I got a good sales, and I'm in touch with him because he was so happy with me because I was getting a lot of foreign transfer to the account. So he called me suddenly. You need to come to the bank immediately to know something urgent. So when I went there, actually I saw a person, gentleman, transferring money. His own money transferring. Bank manager to advise him, you will lose money. You will lose money. Everybody tried to, he's not listening. It was not big money, around $5,000, but he's sending it is. But he did it and he lost the money. So that's the story. So when I went there, that I'm saying it is so many people do this and lose the money. So when I received this money, I told him, you're transferring to me $30 million. Why don't you deduct that money and send me the rest of the money? Okay. Then he said, no, that money is in this account. This money is not there in the account. So I cannot do basically that. Then I said, okay, why don't you borrow? I'll $12,000 from somewhere and do it. So then he said, let me check if I can do this or not. Very genuinely, he's come back to me. Then actually, a couple of days he did not respond. Then actually, I was so eager to understand the process. Then I sent him an email. Hey, I think this is a confidential deal. We should be talking in a code language. We have to talk in code. He responded, yes, we should talk in code. So I told him, how do you make a code? So I sent him one detective novel I read. This strategy we'll use. He also used. Then we started exchanging them. Continuously he pursued for that $12,000. Nothing else. So because it's basically that's his game, right? He sent you the money, but people don't care about it. But my point here is that person is continuing that business and he's making money. It's a gang. It's a group of people together do this one. Okay, but this is one real genuine spam as a scam. But many of the spam are not scam, right? So how that becomes a spam? So that we should not get into. So the problem is, actually, I mentioned here, people misunderstand you, and because the various kinds of language, the words you're using, and the moment you're in a spam, immediately people think it's a suspicious email. If many people has a habit not even checking the spam. Spammers belong to someone. That is exactly to everyone I say. There is a reason for an email, even a legitimate email land in a spam, because the bifurcation is done by the technology. So we never know when it is, which important mail landed. I know the people who even lost the job because they did not join because they're waiting for appointment letter, did not come. So that's everyone, my team members always say spam also your box. So you need to check it any time and it's to go to spam. So it's not necessary every spam is a real, inverted comma spam. Sometimes may be spam, sometimes may not be, So even legitimate mail will be there. So even your mail, a very good mail which you send might go to the spam. So very recently, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, last month, when we are doing an online shopping mall launch, so much of preparation, me and Eva was doing, we almost every day, we exchange more than 10, 15 emails. That's the time, 2, 3 emails, she said, I not received it. So when you looked at it, it was in the spam. So even a regular mail you're exchanging, legitimate emails you're exchanging, there is some time, because the content, because the words, because the attachment, because the files you used, and so many reasons it might go to the spam. So this portion is a very important portion we need to look into. That's one of the criteria when you bring this structure, which we discussed. In the structure, it is not there. Which one? Which I told you about. Structure does not carry this message of careful of a spam. So when you write this method, whether because you improved your subject line, you want to have fantastic subject line, but for an email, it can be in a spam. Okay, so you need to think about that aspect as well. That's the reason you need to know A/B testing, and there's something called split testing you need to do before you starting a massive campaign. People say around 1% you need to try. For example, have a 1 million, you need to do 1%, 1,000 email you have to send a sample and work on it. How much it is going into the inbox and everything. So subject line, it makes you into landing into the into the spam as well, because of the subject line. Some of the words used, like too much of free, something like, always make an issue. But a free we always use as well. For say in terms of sales, we definitely use a free as well, right? So important to have that one. Second one is when you're a bold communication, when you're saying about the call to action, putting a link, that link has also mattered sometimes. And some people report that link, you'll have an issue on it. Plus you adding an image. So that image, you don't have a copyright. That image you added, randomly, or that image earlier became a spam. Earlier had a massive reporting. So all the reasons also you might go to spam. So this is a very important part you need to decide. So please don't forget spam. You need to handle. There is no other method. We need to handle the spam issues. Okay. Now another one is actually basically when we say unsolicited email to get you, and even your domain get a blacklisted. The domain get blacklisted means someone visit your website. That shows us be careful, as a red mark. So the solution is this: basically when you do an email marketing, you can basically use another domain. So do not use that, as I mentioned, same email ID. You cannot do another one. Okay. Now another is which I told you about the spam as a kind of a scam email, and people want to fool you and take you out. This one. It is not only that one. There are many scams like this. You be careful on it. And the people the moment you start doing a digital business, many people come to you. For example, people send you offer of their car. For example, you posted something, you want to buy a car, or just inquire in the car selling website or a classified website. They'll sell you a very luxurious car for a throwaway price. So they'll say, okay, we're sending you the car. You go to the cargo and clear the payment of something like that, they say. Then after you receiving the car, you send me the money. So that looks like a good offer, because now a BMW car of let's say $500,000, or maybe $100,000, $200,000, or in a $50,000 car, you're getting for, let's say, $10,000. You feel to buy, right? And you're not paying now. You're paying only once received in the cargo or this one. So they send you pictures and everything, and this mail communication. So they send out the mail to so many. The people who posted looking for a car, they get this mail. They extract the mail from these classified and send to the people. Now, what the scam here is basically, they're not asking you money in advance. They send a paper or a big cargo will come to you, car to be released, blah, blah, blah. Send you the scan copy. You go and inquire in the shipping companies. Yes, there is a box for you. There is a car that's coming. So they'll also tell you this is it. But basically, it's not a car, or maybe, kind of a crap or something you add it is. Then they will ask you to clear the payment there to send another, because they will ask, the customs will ask you one other paper, which they say you need to send this money. So what you do basically, now car is there in my town, and if I don't do this, our customs will send back. Let me take a risk of it. Now anyway, I'm getting around $20,000, $30,000 profit to do this. This is one of the things. It's a very massively campaign email. As I mentioned, this also belongs to Saddam Hussein, and other one it is Libya. Gaddafi's one, and so many. One any political leader died in the helicopters or like immediately this mail again activate and send it. In Indian, demonetization happened. This also happened the same time. Iraq invasion time, it's happened so much of time, and so many times. It's happened. So it's a keep repeating, and these are the people who are happening. Keep doing it. Now another mail which you get at the same way is basically matrimonial sites. In the matrimonial sites, the moment someone, especially the second marriage, or the single mother with a daughter, all these people who wanted to get married, so they know that the desperation to the parents or the person, they will get a fantastic mails. and they saw your profile, blah 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 blah. Even of course, there also will be there in the platform, and they take the communication to the email and continue the server. And it is again, it's not one person getting. So they extract the email from the data and they send out the same email to everyone and make it doing it. So all these people, the reason I'm saying is all these people use the words. Basically, the Gmail platform or an email platform is also considered kind of a scam. So you using these kinds of words, that's the reason these kind of a scammy email come to you. You need to look into the structure of the email and the wording. So you should be careful to use on it. So that's one of the major points to be considered. Okay. So this is one portion you have to be careful on is spam emails. Now, as I mentioned, once in a week you have to send an email. The reason I'm saying, because every week you have to consider all these aspects as well. Now we'll come to the next point. Next point is, as I mentioned it is earlier, you inquired about a product earlier, then you forgot. But that company is keeping with you and keeps sending you to the one, and you think it's a spam. Actually, you inquired earlier. When you inquired earlier, you might also download the brochure or ebook. You also agreed, yes, I received an email. But your life moved on, and you're not interested in that product, and even if you forgot that, then you say that is another company sending. So that's the reason, as a company's perspective, as per the law as well now. So as per the Canadian rule, in the 12 months time that even I agree that is I opted you from your website to receive an email. But the last 12 months, the mail you sent to me, none of the emails I did not responded. I did not clicked or replied. Then is considered as a not subscription. So you need to remove that one. That's the reason yesterday, not yesterday, quite some time ago I told you about these cases. What you have to do, you need to segmentation. So the people who have not responded to you 12 months, you need to have a separate list. It's not a good list. Okay. So because it's legally, it is not actually allowed to send again the mail. So you need to separate that 12 months who's not done. You need to take care of that aspect. So 12 months time. So that's a way. Another way now people make this mail as a spam, and many other people do the spam. The mail mark as a spam. Your email automatically becomes spam. That's another issue. So this is the things and also part you need to take care of. Okay. Now, so previous interest they have it is now you fill up the contact form, or you even opted, as I mentioned you, the even customer even opted one. Maybe sometime when you signed up with them, you also agreed. So all the things you actually agree to receive a letter. Now another thing is basically sometimes the newsletter you actually you saw a good newsletter, just simply agree to receive. That's another issues also. Okay. Now another important point when you look at is now spam is basically how the people view. The personal preferences. So that's one other thing. It's basically spam is again a perspective of the people. Some like me actually, I read more of spam because of some of the good promotional mails and people send to the email part, and it has to be you need to look into that their mail pattern and do it is, and the people who are sending an email to you is spam. That's one of the reasons I look into. Second one is there's a real mail, as I mentioned, will be there in the mail as well. So even the mail is not real mail. If you send you unsolicited email, you will get a good information. If you're planning to do email marketing, you can learn so many things. Like what we are discussing now. This is the way people start doing. Doing a research and send you. So much of research is gone to one email to send it. So the wordings they used, the structure they used, the link they kept it, the call to action they kept it. Everything we have learned, things to learn actually. So I recommend you to read some of the spam. Okay, I'm not saying it is all the scam email you to read. I'm saying it is there are good legitimate mail also will land in the spam. It's good one you need to read that and understanding about. Just glance through first. Then if it's relevant, you go through that one. Okay, that's one important habit you to keep now. Okay. Now you also audit the content. So when you finalize the content, you make sure that is your rule, IDA rule. Keywords are there, like we discussed integration. Even in a part of your SEO should be there in the email part as well. You put now messages which you are trying to convey. So you look into call to action is important, and hurry used too much of the content of the spammy kind of content, or your image can be another issue. The image is going to your email can become a spam, which is one of the reason is some of the devices will not be compatible with the email. You might have so many emails comes to you, image is not loading. So that is another issue. So that's the reason I prefer earlier your greetings, our major content, our below portion image. So you cannot never guarantee all the emails will open all the devices. The image will be open because people are using multiple devices, different brands and models, and the image you used for fur. So it's not guarantee that is that mobile devices or a laptop will open your images. So that's the reason image you put in the below part. So there are many devices will not be open with your image. And this image, as I mentioned earlier, the history of the image is a matter. Even the compatibility of the images matter, and image it is a copyright of that is also important. So all that aspect is going to consider before start doing this. Okay, this image, email marketing part. Now, sometime even subscribers, real subscribers, they feel they don't know your brand. That's another reason. That's a reason people say it. You're a spam. Sometimes they forgot actually. That's another reason. So you have to remind them. Sometimes they unsubscribe. People used to say anytime when I unsubscribe, they say, "Hey, sir, you already used it. Our services earlier. That's reason we are sending you. We are going to miss you, etc." So then, and again, I take a decision not to unsubscribe. Okay. Now, another one is not relevant. So you get so many email communication which is not relevant to you. You make them a spam, and you don't even open it. So that's the reason relevant content is coming to some of the email, which is I used to say to my friends, one of the email which I read regularly. Uh, he's a digital marketer. His email will have around 10-20 paragraph. A very long email he write. And he sent out around 4 million emails every week. But I read his email because it's a very good point. Many of the points which I spoke to you from those points, his experience talking about how he overcome, how the tools and which method he uses, various strategies. So he's a very relevant. So his target audience is the digital marketers across the globe, and he sent out the relevant content. Even though what other rules we are talking about, we talk about email is a short and simple, 5 to 7 paragraph, and each paragraph only 2-3 sentences. Nothing he follow. Each paragraph for him around 5 to 7 sentences, and 10 to 20 paragraphs are there, and he writes every week, and he gets a result. He does an affiliate program, he does a dropship program, and he give a lot of freebies because become freemium members. So one of the thing, he very regularly does, and of course he makes money, but he give a relevant content. So even if it's a 20 paragraph content, it's too much of content. Still, I'm reading which is relevant to me. In the same way, when I look at there are so many emails which is coming to me, which is nothing to do with I don't like it that product and send to me on it. It's not making me send it. I know. Okay. So relevant content is sending to the right people. That's important. That's the reason you need to segmentize with your email, not one campaign. You're based on you have 10 avatars we discussed, 10 different campaign can be there. Okay, this is important part. So now how do you avoid this one? So different 5 ways are there which we discussed now to avoid this. People judge you as a spam. Now avoiding the spam filters. So as we discussed now short while ago, that's an important part. And so this is these are the points which you discussed, and it should be relevant. It should be the words which you're using, the auditing part, everything is what we discussed short while ago is first step. Now other one is basically is apart from this fact, the image and text in palette. So much of content and so much of image is also making the balance should be there. So that to play a major role on a beginner spam alert. Okay, and too many images is basically it's not a good idea. So many images you're sending, even in newsletter, still should have a kind of a balance with that. Okay, and even overlaid text and images is also a problem. So make sure that is beautifully done that one. Now, too much of formatting, include the excessive lot of capital you use it, or a lot of bold he use it, and irregular font he use it. All the things also make you a spam. So you should be natural, organic, and of course you can have a few bold, but not all too much one. Another thing, you have a huge attachment if you do. It's usually there's a high possibility to go to spam, especially when size is increased. And the attachment quality, attachment images, attachment the components, it's there. Everything is also a matter for that. So here it's you using a corporate email ID with your URL is important, and you also link with your social media, and all the thing you do is you get the people to the website. That's the way exactly you get a result on. So all the things carefully doing it's also important. Now another important part is actually uh, ask them to download instead of you're attaching, you give them a link, then download it. So that's the way you can actually do that. Now, some of the other thing is some obscene terms, because as I mentioned to you earlier, the terminology is so much of free, crazy deals, free money, and all the things also become a suspicious thing part. Now, subscriber, the list from the spam, you tell them that, ask them to, not spam to click and make you properly. Okay. Now, another, as I mentioned, in 12 months' time, a subscriber did not respond to you, you need to make it a segment. You send a mail or not, depends upon the role of the country, you can decide. But the most important part is subscribers. You need to call segmentize, and every 12 months at least, you need to refresh and say you don't want to be sent an email again. Those who are not respond at least once in 12 months, in 1 year time. The rules say past 12 months. Okay. Now, in 12 months' time, if these people are either responded, clicked, or some kind of a call to action they are done, you can actually take them as it's a quality customer. Now, it's also another thing is actually they have obtained for an email lot of contact list, and what exactly that means. Now, for example, if you take it as Amazon, as you told in earlier, Amazon, when you the moment you open an account with Amazon by default is sign you up for their newsletters, or maybe through the contact form. So that's one of the reasons you might make them as a spam as well. So you can also send messages related to similar products or service, and only they are shown interest. So that's exactly another reason the niche, it makes sense to you. So here the based on the niche, once a person shown interest in that particular niche, it is easy for you to send a same kind of a niche product on that. So it's important to have this one. Now another issue which you might have seen is suddenly a different email from one person or one company comes to you. This has really happened, especially in the COVID-19 time. Many people started using email and they diversified. For example, here in Qatar, I got a cruise company. Almost every week, they sent me an email talking to the cruise offer for weekends. And the lockdown period, they were not operating, or they were not able to operate it. So suddenly, that company changed to AC mechanics. So the cruise dinner, barbecue dinner, and the special offers, all the things. They're talking about the cruise and yacht, which I used to read and I look into. I've taken their services, etc. Suddenly that email company changed to AC mechanic, diversified. I'm not interested at all that one, right? So then I unsubscribed them. So suddenly the change this one, it is it makes you uncomfortable. So that's the reason the data, which is you need to relevant to them only send it. Even your company changed, you need to again opt in that one. Or you change the niche. This is one of the questions many people ask me. Can I change the niche? Answer is yes. Then your opt-in list also should go. For example, you are doing a niche for a swimming. Then you suddenly change to maybe to organic food. So you need to change that one, all right? So this is very important to unsubscribe and get unsubscribe people, making an opt-in list by sending out another email as well. Another reason, the same thing which you can see from the people is many of the people work in the company and they change the company and they even change the profile, and he goes with the email data, and he goes to a new place and starts sending another email. I feel, we feel this uncomfortable on it, right? So that's another reason you need to make it. So some other employee of the company or the person you are working with the company, I have a data, start doing email, you should be very careful what kind of a data he has or she has it is. Should not get excited about it. So make sure that the quality of the quality, it's a target for you or not. Okay, it's important part. So this is an example now, as I told you about. It's a very important case study happened that there's a kitchen kitchenware marketing company suddenly started selling a car. I told you an example of a cruise company suddenly changed to AC mechanic company. So that kind of a thing is a very, very important part. Now, another important part is don't conceal your identity. That's what many other people has the habit. That's the reason you need to have a signature of your email. I hope all of you set your signature of email. In the previous discussions we had the important part of signature. Now, so here it's very important to have the signature aspect because people want to know who is sending this email. As I mentioned, even the from boxes people actually do, and people wanted to have a transparency there, and who is sending to me that one. And it is validated, and especially you should use a corporate email ID or at least similar to corporate email. I mean, it's kind of an officially working when you're talking about that one. Okay. Now, so there's subscribers are it's a repeated one, and it's a contact. Also you're sending in regularly. It's not going to the spam bar. Okay. Now, do not, as I mentioned earlier, people say do not reply. It's not a good idea. As mentioned, the people should be able to send an email to reply to you. Say that is one. Now, unsubscribe. And the people should be able to respond to one. And even you wanted to use an automated mail or a triggered email goes, do not make us a do not reply. Let the people reply on it. Okay, that's the important part. Okay. Now, another thing is people buy the list. So buy the list is actually challenging. You don't know what kind of a list it is. You also never share it is. Why is never share it is? One is it's illegal to share the data because the people give you the data for your purpose and based on the deal they had with you for your email subscription, for your newsletter subscription, for your news, they're willing to give. Without their permission, you cannot give a data. It's illegal and ethically also not right. So if we do this after effect is, this kind of data is a high possibility is that it becomes spam. So please don't do that one. Don't buy and even don't do it. Even if you buy, you should have a method to make them a subscription. So that's the reason you have to try with another domain, do a campaign, then only subscribe to one, only opted one, double opt-in one, only add to this one. This is an important part. Okay. So keep in mind that this is very important aspect on it. Okay. Now, you should not share the list to anyone. And so another, by mistake, knowingly, unknowingly, people share the list. One of the things people do sometimes, not from the ESP. Many people do this, a very common mistake. Even repeatedly when I say also, people do the same thing. When you send out an email, people send it to or a CC. So others can easily get your list because you know to whom this one sent an email. For example, recently one of the company in Qatar who did an investors meet. So I was an investor as registered there. I went there. And they sent me a thank you mail, which copied to all 150 people. So I got all the 150 people, the investors in Qatar. So you understood. So all the 150 people got 150 people. Actually, he organized to generate a lead as investors. You might know he might have invested maybe 50,000 to 100,000 because of fantastic investors went to us. So he just given out. And one of the employees' stupidity, that company lost entire lead and shared it. Okay. And many of the people would have responded to that, how the hell you are doing with my data sharing? It's not allowed. Okay. So never use a 2 and CC when you're doing a campaign. Even you're not using ESP, you do something called BCC. So the others cannot see. So no, you need to send us a BCC. No, okay. And I also have an experience of tell you sharing a data. Very, very, very important part. This is underline and keep it with you as an email marketing. I've seen a person get into trouble. For example, he just shared his customers' data to his competitors. So both of them were studying in a college. Both of them placed in a campus placement, and he started working on company. Another person started working on the company. Okay, Aramex and DHL. So you can understand it as the company part. Okay. Now I'm not telling who did what, and in that both of them in charge of one region. So they're friends, and over a drinks, the person asked, "Hey, I'm not getting any sales lead. Can you just send me your list? I'll also send a quotation." So they've not understood the importance of that as kids, right? Just got into the job, and the entire that particular region, entire list of that company, it went to the competitors' hands. It's two small boys. Now, what are the after effect? The person who shared, the employee who shared, is such an innocent person. He was arrested and remanded for 2-3 weeks to get a bail to get 2-3 weeks time because it's also a criminal offense. So your customers' data you cannot share. So it's a priest that is an important part. So never ever share your data and keep protecting it. Data protection is very, very important part. Okay, so even this is actually very, they're not exchanged. Only thing, he helped his friend to him also to get. He said my email campaign is working. Why didn't you work it? So that's where the conversation started, and it was a very proved one. The moment you send an email, it is there an attachment, and the timestamp is there, and everything is evidence for a court to decide as well. So it's important to have this important. Okay. So never share the list and be careful about the email marketing campaign. Okay. Now, another thing which I just want to tell you in the part of this one, sometime when you work the companies or you have a team, or now as a you niche owner, or you're in a maybe your Airbnb site owner, you have a set of a clients who's working, or you have a vendors, no, you have a connection, or you have an agents, or you have affiliates. All the things you have a different kind of an emails. Sometimes you to give them a kind of especially you have an affiliate, you say that these are my content. For example, you go to adm.qa. There's a content for you to share. We already kept a one content there. So you sign up as an affiliate. Easy for you to copy paste that content and customize and send it. So many people don't do customization. Just that stupidity there. The customization is based on dear so and so, dear XXX we return. So X he has to remove, and instead of removing X, they send the mail automatically, and it's put a date here. So the same sentences goes to the client, put a date here. So these are the few stupidity people do, and it is not once. I have witnessed many times, 3 to 4 times, and they think it is not a big. What is the big deal? When I ask them what is the big, it's a big deal. It's email marketing is one of the major parts of the company's success. Your marketing campaign success, your company revenue, and people they should not take it for lightly. And if they do, and they need to, it's one. Okay. Now, and also why should not you stare at this? Because you put a lot of effort to build that data. The moment you know that is, if you are looking for a 10,000 email to have it, is how difficult it is. Now think about 1 million, 2 million emails, how you share. So to be careful on it. Now, another one is a subscriber management aspect on it. Now, before you start doing any kind of a marketing campaign, make sure that is managing the subscription part. So it's a first and important part of this process, important part. Okay. Now, Now, without email address, no, you will not be able to do campaign. So you need a subscriber list. So you need to know how to get a subscribers list and how you get more number of customers list. So then once you get it is, you need to segment that data. So you need to collect the data and segment the data. So this is important part you need to have. So how do you update this one? So it's a basically regularly you need to have a good subscribers and effective campaign you should do. Now segmentation when you collecting a data itself, you need to plan on it. So how do you collect the data? For example, when you're making an opt-in list with a different nature, somebody are subscribed for your newsletter, it should be one segment. So newsletter subscribers, not all in one opt-in. You can have a multiple opt-in. Now opt-in is a primary category, then you have a subcategory. So somebody opted for an email marketing subscription, so email subscribers. Another data you collected when they signed up, also sign up. Another data you collected, somebody downloaded the vouchers or a ebook. So you can actually have a ebook downloaded people. Now ebook you download, you might have keep a multiple ebook. For example, in this month you kept a for example your niche is you're in the fashion. Now winter collection. So winter collection, when something related to your winter collection, fashion products, you download. So people downloaded it. Now someone downloaded later. Maybe you come out with another in your niche, something ornaments or something you come out. So that he collected. So that he starts to separate one. So this data you need to have a first segment wise. Then again further segment based on this data belongs to which customer avatar you have. So as you have a 10 avatar of your customer, you should be able to relate this to one. Then based on that, you need to come out with a campaign. So this is the effective method should do it. The more subscribers you have is good, but segmentation is important. Okay. So offline method. Now we go to the online method. What are the things? Online method you collect it is through email subscription, sign up, voucher download, email download, maybe kind of a widget you can use it. You can use some kind of a plugin, something like opt-in list, or maybe an inquiry generations, or maybe or maybe randomly you're telling something, free consultation, something you offered them, something webinar registrations. So you can have a different method to collect this data. So those people only you are going to do. As I agree, this is a time taking and effort is required. Yes, but it's worth it. Okay. So now we go to the offline method. So offline method, you know that companies do business card collection, go to surveys. There's an offline event, exhibitions. All the things can be there. And with whatever the promotional material you are doing today, if you have a physical business or you promote offline, the brochures and pamphlets and that you can have a slip, put your email ID and phone numbers to be, or email ID. Sometimes people may not reveal a phone number, so don't ask a phone number, email ID, you can ask them. So that's one of the methods from the printer material you can have. Now, to integrate, as I mentioned, offline and online methods together, and maybe with a QR code you can have, product brochures you can have, text messages you can have, sign up you can have, all the things you can have. And another thing is many of the people increases the database based on the events, online and offline, which you organize. And offline events, you get a more relevant quality. And of course, online also you get it. Online is very easy to collect the moment you hosted one event, you get a token for that, right? So events are important part. Now, you have something called touch point, maybe a reviews, maybe a touch point when you make it, as we discussed about touch point earlier. Every company has touch point. So the touch point collection of the data is very important, and that has a very quality one. So if you have a daily sales and other things, there are good content, good contact list together, it's also you can add on. Now, as we discuss the offline method, I just quickly connect with the online method once again. So it's a sign up formats. So you can people sign up through emails. And another thing which I forgot to mention is the social media. So with the social media platform is basically people come and comment to you, subscribe you. All these people you can actually connected with you. You can consider them as another segment of people who are interested in your offers. Like an offline touch points, you can also have online touch point, or you can do that. I mean, you can also have something, giving a free or a voucher or a special category of the people, or only limited to 100 people, etc., etc. You can make it as. Now, another one is called data segmentation. So, what exactly data segmentation? Data segmentation, as we discussed earlier, you need to segment one by one, accumulated one. Now, for optimizing for this one. Now, as a very important part of it, not to have a 4 million or 5 million email IDs, to have a true value for that one. Okay. Now, marketers, basically this process is the important part on when you do it. Is now you need to divide your subscribers also into different segment, and you also it connect with your avatar of your customer. That's more important. So you need to, based on even the social media activities, basically you can have a likes and dislikes and other things connected with that as well. So these segmentation become very important for you to do a good campaign. Also to have a customized content as well. So important what this segment, and very very important to have it as, otherwise you will you will not get a desired result as well. Okay. So these features basically segmentation, but of course your demographics and psychographics, as we discussed earlier, you must consider the gender, education, interest, all the demographic and psychographic will be discussed. Another important part is geography. So location, very important part, and even many of the ESPs actually give you an option to send only to the location-based emails. So you need to know location on the part, and something is happening in New York, you invite to the London, it may not work like that. So make sure that is you have relevant content going on. You also don't forget the history of the customers. So based on that, also you should have a different one. Okay. So now all the things, now if you are already familiar with something, with this will end now. Important point, we'll discuss this one, is basically now a customer, based on their familiarity with the buying habits. Now, some particular product they bought it, based on that you can actually bring that customer to another level. For example, you take an example like you start a relationship with a customer, something to show it is, he bought some products, and based on that, you need to take him to the next level, and further you will make a good return on investment. So you'll have a subscriber list individual, different stages of the customer. You need to keep it there. Now, not necessarily they regularly purchase, but one purchase itself you can bring to the next level. This is also known as a dynamic segmentation. You can bring them segment-wise. A person is responding after purchasing, they're doing it. Okay. So the life cycle, it is like that. Maybe first time it's something like that. A customer subscribed when they purchase the product for your newsletter. So the newsletter subscription is not that very consciously she or he might have done, because when he purchasing, there's another button, subscriber newsletter, she just clicked it. So now after he purchase something, which is really good for us, right? Now encourage her to purchase again. So in a weekly newsletter, you continue with the segment wise. Now, which product he purchased, when you made a segment, avatar of a customer, based on that, you should be able to send her again the same kind of a products category. So there is a high possibility she buy again. So you send every week, there are 8 or 10 emails gone, then you got one sale. So when that sale happened there, you getting back her to the website, right? So showing her, showing the interest, and now she sees that various, browsing various product page, and she might buy again. But she not buy that time, but she brought her to the website. That itself is a progress. Now, few months after, her quality of her engagement is showing in the sharing in a product in our Facebook. Sometime maybe she bought it later, she shared that one. And there is actually, we discussed this point, customer advocating about your brand. So brand is got to start advocating. So then you the relationship and use her testimonials or share her reviews or whatever the Facebook what she posted, and make her a kind of a brand ambassador. So this is actually started a relationship with just an email subscription part. So here you need to have an entire insight about the interactions we are doing. So subscriber list and dynamic list or how they evolve is a very, very important part. And the managing the data is a very, very important. And segmenting important, refreshing is important, campaign wise is important, avatar is wise important. And and you need to refine all the data, based on a quality and quantity part. Now, the step one we complete now today. So important is, email process is not one time. You need to continuously do again and again, very regularly. Then you need to clean your old data. I need to have a new data. Okay. Now, how you know if your data is old? Now, you take for example, you're sending 1,000 subscribers now email. Now, the ESP says that 1% of your data is bounced. That means 10 of your email IDs, not a good one. So remove that 10 from your list. So then this segmentation should be very open. Very often you should do, and the moment the mail is open, then click happen based on the behavior as we discussed. We need to have that happening on. Okay, so quality is matter. It's not that you're millions of email you're sending. Even you're sending 100,000, you should have a quality list on it. So a small number of high quality interactions is better than to have a large quantity. So interactions are more important. More than anything else, it's that you really know your customer. That's how we discussed. That's one of the point we discussed about. Okay. So now the step 2 is basically design and content. So that we'll cover tomorrow. So now today we'll end with this part. So data management, I want you to start making your 10,000 list. I don't know where we reach. I'll tell you, I'll predict you a problem which is going to come. Now, when the championship time, we have 11 different things to do. And one thing is regularly we are going to do an email campaigning. And email campaigning is to do, if you don't have a sufficient the data optimizer is going to have a problem. So that's the reason other day we discussed about extracting your email, scrapping your email, and adding to the list is today itself. It's important, and keep making that is okay. Do that one. Then you have to segment wise. Now, when you segment, we come out of the content. We'll give you content. That's another good thing I'll tell you. We are one of the email marketing specialists are involving in this process. She'll make a good content. Okay. I say expensive, so it's worth doing a content. She set a multiple business model. She do around 5 to 10 different content for avatar of the customer. So you should have your avatar of the customer. So if you don't have your proper avatar of the customer, the email campaign will not be effective. So plus not only that, your perception about that avatar of the customer and sending an email is not workable. You feel it is not worth it. It's not result is come. So this only, for example, if you send to me something which is I'm not going to buy, the email I unsubscribe or I opt out, or even I block and I make a spam, you will judge me, okay, I sent to so many people are making spam because it was not relevant to us, right? So this was a very, very important part to understand about it, okay? So the step 2 and step 3, step 4 will continue tomorrow. And I believe in this data segmentation is very important. I think all of you getting ready for a promotion of this one. And we'll continue the discussion in the mastermind. And a few minutes from now, I'll join the mastermind actually. So thank you so much, all of you, once again, for be part of this program today. And make sure that is most important is you will start email campaign. Okay, thank you so much.